Em bật lên được.
Nhà chị đang thu xếp để chuyển nhà.
Ồ vậy hả?
Good morning.
Ừ.
Good morning. So
Hello.
you can hear me.
Hello.
You can hear me okay?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Okay.
Good evening.
Yes. Good evening to you. So thank you for the picture of the glass, the House of Wisdom glass, Tuan. That was very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this this afternoon I call you.
Oh.
I
Okay.
call you on WhatsApp, but maybe you busy.
I was probably sleeping. Let me see.
Yes,
I woke up about
Yeah.
half an hour ago. So
yes.
À.
Mr. Ian,
yeah.
today is 20 November.
Okay.
In Vietnam, we
Do you know?
celebrate the
Do you know? Oh, do you know what day is
Vietnamese
the
Teacher
day?
Day.
What's that? What did you say? 20th November is.
Today is
Yeah.
Vietnamese Teacher Day.
Oh, Teachers Day. Okay, National
Yeah,
Teachers Day in Vietnam. Okay, that's why.
National Teacher Day of Vietnam.
Nice. I like that.
So, uh,
Yeah.
on behalf of on the volunteer teacher, also on the student of you, of teacher Ian, and on behalf of, we would like to say thank you so much and wish you happiness, health, progress.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so happy to that it's National Teachers Day in Vietnam today, November 20th. Is that the same day every year?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Today in Vietnam is a very very special day. Very very special.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, so good evening to
Yes.
you both, Chi and Tuan, and morning for me. And do we have anyone else here today?
Yes, we wait for
maybe
some.
maybe they are so busy, so tired
I
with
was,
the kind of a heavy holiday.
I was gonna say if it's okay, we can take the day off if it's National Teachers Day and people want to have the day off. That's okay with me. And we could postpone the topic till next week. It's a very serious topic, I think. How to train and recruit volunteers for every classroom in every House of Wisdom undertaking in every province in Vietnam. So that's an ambitious
Yeah.
topic, and
Difficult task.
yeah, yeah, I think so. But
Yeah.
I I also think that the teachers that you have that I've met, they're very affable, very competent, and very friendly professionals, and it's my honor to work with them all once a week. Um, I just hope that um, we could have constructive sessions where some teachers are bringing um, ideas to the group as well as problems that they may have to the group so that we can all seriously look at them and propose solutions either on the same day or in the following week. So, because I felt like so far that I've been doing a lot of the talking. And I'm not in a classroom in Vietnam, so I don't know what the challenges are that your teachers face. And I would really like to hear from them. Um,
Yeah.
so I think
We
of
also trying to hear to encourage our teachers to be more to be more active.
yes,
Yeah.
and I think eventually they will. Um, I think that as they become more comfortable, and because it's not always obvious what the format is, and when you just join the conversation. So sometimes people just like to sit back and watch, and that's okay.
I think that
So
today we we would love Miss G tell us something about a special day today from her experience when she was a baby girl up to now. Because 20 November is a very special day in Vietnam, and I would like Miss Chi and other teacher will share with Mr. Ian about this day in Vietnam.
Okay, that's a good way to start.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. So that kind of to give people questions so that teachers have to talk. So Miss Hằng, how about your day
Thank you.
today?
Miss
I'm
Hằng,
Yeah,
yes.
I'm so. Thank
Happy
you.
Teachers Day first. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss T.
Mr. Ian, Mr. Ian,
Yes.
Yeah.
if you were in Vietnam today, so many people, so many of your students will gather in your garden, will gather in your house with a lot of flower, with a lot of small gift, and
Oh,
they
wow.
sing a lot of song for you.
Nice. I
But we
would.
cannot because you are in New York, so we cannot celebrate
I
offline,
can
but
show
we can
you
celebrate online. Yes.
some
I'll,
flowers I got today.
I'll have to keep the date in mind so that one day in the future I can be there for National Teachers Day. That would be a good time to visit. Yeah, that sounds great. And I hope all the teachers get flowers and gifts today from their students. It's so nice when students show that appreciation and, and just give a little gift like a flower or a card or something. That's really nice. It shows they spent their own time trying to bring joy to their teacher. That's nice. Good evening, Miss Hung. How are you?
Hello.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
I'm so. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
In the morning, I participating and celebrate for Vietnamese Teachers Day in at my school.
Oh, okay. Did you get flowers
Very
and
good.
fruit like Chi did?
Oh, you can see flowers, huh?
Yeah,
In
yeah.
my
Yes.
house.
That's
So,
wonderful.
Yeah, a lot
That's
of flowers.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow. I like it.
Wow. So
Flower and fruit.
yeah, flower and in
Very
basket of fruit.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very beautiful. Wow, a lot of flowers. Oh, yeah.
And
Happy
also in
Teachers
Hanoi,
Day to
in Hanoi, this time of a kind of flower, very like typical, we call it cúc họa mi. Yes.
Oh,
You can
wow.
see pictures. That's
picture.
the painting my husband draw.
Oh, wow. You married an artist.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. Well, when I was in Vietnam in 2019, I bought a painting I saw at a vendor on the street. I'll have to take a picture of it and put it on the messenger thread. It's a good painting. Not as good as Cheese, but it's still a good painting.
He retired and he start learn paint.
Nice.
So he did a lot of painting. Okay.
Nice. Wow, thank you for the tour.
Now we listen to Michi story. Yes.
So that is Teachers' Day. When students come to when in school in university, the school and the university organized the meeting, and often we have a lunch, celebrate the like a kind of party, big party, a lot of flowers. Yeah. And our former students often come, current students also come to the office, and former students also come. Yeah, and we say nice words to each other. Yes, but and in that day, we on teachers feel very honored, yeah, to be teachers, like kind of the day for the teacher. Yes.
No, that's
And
great. Yeah.
the same in your school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I same feeling with you. At my school, also, and teachers, parents, the student, organize own teachers. Okay. Celebrate, organize a big party and meeting. Okay, official formal meeting for Vietnamese Teachers Day. And after meeting, we enjoy big party from
Lunch,
parents.
fancy
Okay.
lunch.
Parents student. From parents student.
And often
for lunch.
students. Yeah.
Okay.
And students often do performance. They sing a song.
Yeah.
They dance. Yeah, like that.
Nice.
But actually, sometimes we see that it's sometimes for me. Sometimes I feel a little bit like uncomfortable. Yeah, a bit, yeah. Because there's so many kind of flowers, so many celebration, and sometimes I feel too big. Yeah. And do you have the same feeling? Yeah. Sometimes I feel such a too. Yeah. And but when I join the House of Wisdom, so the House of Wisdom promote for lifelong learning. That means that everyone can be teachers, everyone can be students. So we think that, yeah, the teachers, they're not only for teachers, professional teachers, but actually should be like I would think that it would be more meaningful if we think about we take that day for the day of education, and we for the all learner and teachers. Yeah, and even I think
just means you were socializing, not informal.
I think that because in that day, in the teachers, people talk only about teachers. But I think for the kind of House of Wisdom, so in the House of Wisdom, we see that all people are teachers and students at the same time. You see? Yeah. And actually, in real life, everyone are teachers. We are all teachers, right? Yeah. We always in our life, we always sometimes teach someone else something. And in family, we are the first teachers of our children. Yes, that is a very important role. And in our work, in our life, I think the people always do some teaching for sometimes for someone, and we see the important role of learner. Because now actually people talk about the teachers only in the schools and in university in the kind of normal, in the kind of the environment where the teachers have to come to the school, to the university to study. But in the house of wisdom, the teachers, the learner come, not because they have to come, but because they want to come to study, to learn. And that is very important. And also teachers also are learners, right?
Right.
So I would love to have a day for the learner, even more important than a day for teachers, right, Han?
Don't want to a teacher. I want to become a learner in wisdom house. Okay.
Hello, Quỳnh Giao. Yes.
Oh, Yao is here. I see.
Hello, Miss Anne. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Yao.
Yeah.
Miss Ian and Miss Cheese and Miss Han, I would like to introduce Yao to you. I never seen her. Yao,
Okay.
Yao father is a volunteer teacher of the House of Wisdom. He teach hundreds of investors. He is a broker on the security market. And you know, yes, he is a broker and he investor. He worked for a security company in Vietnam. Yes, and he teach
to teach
hundreds
people
of
to make money.
investors. Yes. Yes, and now his daughter is a learner of Mr. Ian Gardiner. Yes, that is Quỳnh Giao. Yes.
So we just talk about the
Wonderful.
today's Teachers Day, but we just talk about the learner, and I say that I would love to have a learner's
Learner
day.
Learner day.
Well,
and for the House of Wisdom, we should create that day.
Do you
to
think?
celebrate the how to say for the day for the learner, good learner.
Do you want to?
And we have.
Do you want to focus on the learner, because that's every other day that they're the focus, or do you want to focus on the educator? Like, so I thought what you were saying, Chi, is that so Teachers Day is about the professional teachers, and you were saying it's not inclusive enough. It should include more people who are involved in the business of education. And you seem to be saying that we're all teachers. We're all teachers in some way. And so I was thinking that the House of Wisdom could have the day before or the day after Teachers Day to have a National House of Wisdom Educators Day, so that you're recognizing all of the educators who are part of your organization, who are helping learners with all of their volunteer skills and time and expertise. You're not trying to take away from the profession of teaching, which is on the National Teachers Day, but at the same time you're broadening your focus to all the educators, which is the volunteers here, and all the parents that you were in touch with, all the people who are involved with making your libraries full of books and getting the word out to communities that the House of Wisdom is there to help uplift the learners in the community. So rather than calling it a Learner's Day, I would take the chance right now to brand one of the days before or after National Teachers Day, and call it the House of Wisdom Educators Day, and then explain, in a pamphlet or a little video or something that's has an appeal to people, what you mean by National Educators Day for the House of Wisdom. And that's a way. I'm serious. That's a way to get the message of your brand out there. It's a way for people to learn about the House of Wisdom, and they'll definitely ask more questions after that. But that's what I thought you were saying, is that you were leaning toward an Educators Day, not a Learner's Day, because every other day is a Learner's Day, to be quite honest.
Okay, so educators include everyone, huh? Teachers, learners.
Educators are the people. Educators are the people who bring the time and the resources and the talent to the people who call themselves learners. So it broadens the scope of what's considered a teacher, but I wouldn't call a learner an educator at the same time. You can if you want. I'm open to listening to theories if you have them, but if I had a classroom, I'm not going to let someone who doesn't know the topic take over the class. And that's because then that's a waste of everybody's time. Everybody comes there to the class to learn something from someone who has something to teach. And the only thing I can say is, in learning English, is the teacher spends less time talking than in other classes. But the teacher or the educator in English classes still needs to guide the discussion and the activity. Because, the teacher or the educator is the only person making a lesson plan and putting that together. No one else is doing that. So by educator, I would mean that person, as well as anyone in the classroom who's helping the teacher do the lesson requirements for the day. So if that's a designated student or a volunteer who's not a full teacher, but someone who is assisting the students all the time, that would be an educator as well. But I don't mean learners. Learners, every other day is a Learner's Day. The focus is on them every other day. So, does anybody else have any thoughts about that? Yeah, what do you think?
Actually, I couldn't hear you clearly.
Oh, is my microphone no good?
No, maybe it's because my Wi-Fi or something. So yeah, it's because my internet.
Oh, your connection is fading. Okay.
Yeah.
When that happens, you can put up your hand, and then I'll see that someone has their hand up, and I'll ask them, because I don't want to talk and no one can hear me, because I can't remember what I said after.
Yeah.
The main idea, Yao, that I was saying is that I was saying I thought Chi and the House of Wisdom would do well to have a day before National Teachers Day or a day after National Teachers Day and call it the House of Wisdom Educator Appreciation Day or something like that. And by an educator, we mean anyone who's involved with helping teach students in the classroom or at home, like a tutor, or a lot of the young mothers and young fathers are helping their children learn English at home. We had a person in several weeks ago explaining her system of involving the whole family in getting a child to be a bilingual child, and that was a really wonderful presentation. So all the people involved in her program would be educators, and so I think Chi's comment was to broaden the target of what National Teachers Day is. And I said, well, without taking anything away from teachers, because they're a profession and it's a long-standing profession, I think the House of Wisdom should have the day before or the day after and brand it as the House of Wisdom Educator Day, Educator Appreciation Day, and that could work.
Yeah, I get it.
Good idea.
Well, it's not me, it's Chi. I got the idea from Chi.
All of you are right.
Okay. So, anything else? It's nice to have a father who's an investor. Then you can learn a lot.
I guess.
He very, very good investor.
Well, that's good.
Very good broker, yes.
Do you have any interest in investing, Yao?
Actually, I am not. His profession is pretty tricky to me. Yeah.
Okay. No,
Maybe I will practice when I have when I will be in the university.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Okay. No, I understand. When I was young, nothing could interest me in business or investing or anything. It's just.
Does he sit beside you, Yao? Mr. Chiến Hiệp?
No,
We would love to say hello to him. Yes, we would love to say hello to him.
Wait a minute.
Yes, wait a minute and turn on camera. Yes.
Rồi. Thấy cô chú nào có nè.
Đây.
Mở camera nha.
Turn on camera. Yes.
Đó.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Hiệp.
Đây là
Yes.
cái gì?
Hi.
Yao Daddy, Mr. Ian. Yes. He's our teacher in investing on the stock market.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mr. Hiệp. Yeah.
Gat dinner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Happy to know you.
Okay, happy to know you.
Okay, thank you, Yao.
Yeah.
Nói đi. Anh không nói được tiếng Anh lắm ạ.
My
Không
dad
sao anh.
is English. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
That's
don't have the camera.
That's okay, sure. Thank you. That was very nice to meet your father. And I know Tuan likes to be part of the Investors Club because he told me about being an investment club a long time ago. So that's good. Okay, so she had a great idea about the Educator Appreciation Day. I tried to expand that to make it a branded day for the House of Wisdom that gets out the message about the House of Wisdom itself, as well as fit in with the current sentiment over the appreciation of teachers, so you can ride the wave of popularity of that day. And no, these things are all important. This is what helps a brand become successful. And how well does it fit with what people are thinking about at the moment? And that would be something to take into serious consideration. And then I think if we could, like I said started saying at the beginning, if we could have more teachers feel comfortable to come to our sessions on Saturday and talk about their problems and solutions to situations in the classroom that they encounter, and particularly the classroom where people are teaching English. That would be great, because we're a resource here that gets together once a week of like-minded teachers, and we like to share experiences as well as offer potential solutions to any problems that come up. As Chi said, we don't like to focus on ourselves very much. When, like, if there's she says she was feeling awkward because there's so much attention on her on National Teachers Day. But someone who comes here with a problem that they find in the classroom, that they notice over and over again, we're here to help. So we don't like to focus on us, but we like to help. We love to help. And I would like to hear more from other teachers. So I would like other teachers to have confidence to show up and to discuss things. And I know Miss Hung has been a great contributor of ideas, and I thank her for not being shy and overcoming any shyness and sharing with us what you do in the classroom. The idea of the children making postcards in the classroom and writing postcards home from different locations. It could be anywhere at all. I think that's such a brilliant idea, because it's only 3 or 5 sentences. So they don't need to be, the children don't need to show a lot of attention and concentration, just a little bit, to show that they can be imaginative while writing English, and it's just a few sentences. I think that's such a great idea. I dug through some of my stuff and I found some postcards I bought for their New York City postcards. I must have bought them 10 years ago, and I kept them in a bag. So I was looking at them and I was thinking of your classroom exercise. It's because you could write a postcard from the moon, as long as because children love to draw, so you could draw a picture of what your house looks like on the moon, and saying you're visiting people on the moon, and this is what the moon is like, and you miss everyone at home, and you'll see them soon. That's just a great way for children to learn English, to practice English, and to have fun. And because a lot of the time people are saying, well, how do we get children to be creative, or how do we get them to be imaginative? How do we incorporate the creativity in the classroom? Because there's a lot of talk about how education systems need to incorporate creativity, and somehow they think that American education systems incorporate creativity all the time. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't read any of the literature, but I know this one postcard exercise, it would seem to me to be right up the alley of creativity, because it's built on imagination and the child expressing their imagination in writing English. And I really, really like that idea. I wish, if we had at some point, Tuan, if we can get a manual together of teachers presenting their successful exercises, in the classroom for teaching English, and I hope we can build that up over the years so that it's a resource that you can, it can be an electronic resource, hopefully, and if some people wanted a printed resource, you could do that too, but if it's electronic, you can make 1 million copies and it doesn't cost you anything. So I think it would be great. And then you can build up a library of teacher exercises and teacher tactics used by English teachers in the House of Wisdom. And this is one exercise I would recommend to include in that book of teacher tactics. It's just, I can't say how enthused I am about it. I just can't say how enthused I am. It's just a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can use postcards or to exhibit around classroom, maybe stick board, wall, and maybe stick on the blackboard. And we can see other teaching. We just these are flashcard.
Right, right.
Flashcard in the first side we can see draw and provide some wood.
Oh, right, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under and we show to each student and observe carefully and make a sentence or make many sentences or topic maybe, okay, or
Okay.
call name animals or good new good and other side
Yeah.
we can write the full sentence after student and feedback for student. Okay,
Okay.
last part.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. No, flashcards are a great idea, and
Postcard.
they're a well-used technique in classrooms, and I think that's a great way to teach words and give examples of particular concepts that you're trying to teach. So a lot of teachers use flashcards, but I really like your idea of postcards. I think that's original. I've never heard of that anywhere, because it allows the student's mind to go out of the classroom to anywhere at all. It can be a place that doesn't even exist. It can be a place where everybody is upside down. And if you visited a place where everybody was upside down, how would you move around? Like, that would be an interesting postcard. I came to this place. It's a world in space. Everybody is upside down. The hardest thing I found was trying to figure out how to eat, and then you say, but I'm okay and I'll write to you soon. And then it would be a very small postcard, and then they could draw a picture of everybody upside down in the new world out in space. That would be great.
Yeah.
There's no limits to the imagination with that exercise. No limits at all. I think that's great. That's a great idea. Okay. Tuan, do you have anything you want to add?
Yes.
Yeah. So, as the CEO and founder of the House of Wisdom, what things can we do to help you set up a House of Wisdom Educators Day, either before or right after National Teachers Day in Vietnam?
You know, I'm not an English teacher. I don't have any experience in teaching English at the school, but I'm a student. Yes, I have been a student for many years in school, and I have learned English from grade 10, okay, grade 10 to the university, and I have I think that especially in some school in the countryside, in the rural area, I I think they have a very big problem. That's um, uh, the the communication skill, listening very important, listening and speaking. So when a teacher they have maybe they learn in a university in the English subject, but they don't have much time to learn with the foreigner. So the phonetics, so the pronunciation is not good, and then they come again to the school in the countryside, in the rural areas school, and they teach the children, and the children cannot have a good pronunciation. Sure. And just because they don't have a good skill in communication, they cannot listen very well. So they always hesitate to to talk, to communicate with the foreigner. I know that a lot of teachers, when the House of Wisdom invite a lot of foreigner to come to a lot of the House of Wisdom in the rural area, they can live maybe 1 month to live in that house, to learn with the children. So many children, they can come, but teacher, they don't dare to come. At first, I don't know why, but after a long time, I know that they a little not confident, so they don't want to come to the House of Wisdom. Even though the House of Wisdom invite them to come to share their feeling, to share their knowledge, to communicate with a lot of the foreigner living there 1 month. But very little teacher come there. Because I think that one of the reasons is they are not confident talking with the foreigner. That's the truth. Just because that's so, and in the school, communication is, I think that not very important. I don't know in the city nowadays, like Miss Hằng and Miss Quỳ Giao, I don't know in the school in the city what happened with the English teacher, English teaching, but in the countryside, I know that communication, talking, listening is not a very important skill. They just focus on grammar. The teacher focus on grammar for the test, focus on vocabulary. Yes, maybe 90% of the time is just focusing on grammar, focusing on vocabulary, not listening, not speaking. So that is very difficult for the children, for the student to be better in learning English. So I hope that we can have some more teacher, educator to have a lot of the English teacher in the countryside, in the rural area, to learn more about the pronunciation, phonetic, listening, and speaking. I hope that in the future. I have 3 years learning English at the high school and 5 years learning English at the university, but I cannot speak until when I go to work on Sunday, on Saturday, I go to the street, go to coffee shop and to talk with a lot of foreigners. And from that day, I can talk. Before that, I cannot. Yes.
Okay. Wow.
So we need that. Yeah. we need Mr. Ian help, yeah, to find some more educator, especially in pronunciation and listening and phonetic. Yes.
Yes. I think what you're pointing to is a central problem with all English teachers around the world who are teaching English in countries where English is not the native language.
Yes.
So it's very important to train the ear of the speaker to learn how to recognize and pronounce English words. Now, a lot of my professors here, when I took my certificate in teaching English, they said that as long as communication occurs, as long as there's a successful communication, that the meaning goes from my head to your head, or vice versa, then that's what the goal is. There's no such thing as the best pronunciation, or the correct pronunciation over all others. But I know what you're saying. There's a way that native English speakers talk that involves the use of their ears in pronouncing the words that they use. And that's a skill that people whose native language is not English need to learn. They have to learn that using their ears is part of pronouncing words. And even if it's pronounced in a different way, the ear is still involved in refining a user's pronunciation of English. So, for example, we can go to another language. So I used to know a lot more Mandarin Chinese than I know now. And it was because my ear was trained to listen for the sounds of Mandarin Chinese, so I could understand the meaning. And so when I would speak my limited grasp of Mandarin, I was relying on the things that my ears taught me about what a certain word sounds like. And the same thing goes for any language. So the question that Tuan is bringing up is, even though he mentioned about getting more native English speakers into the classroom or involved in the education of teachers, what you're really pointing to is in what way do teachers bring about the education of the ear or listening to the pronunciation or the practiced pronunciation of words. So, as you rightly point out, grammar is not going to do that for you. When you spend 90% of your time learning English grammar, that's not going to train your ear in how to pronounce the words. So what the person at the front of the classroom is doing with English is not training the ears of the students unless the students are doing verbal exercises. So by pronouncing English at all the different levels, the ear of every student, of every learner, is being educated to the sounds of English, to the rhythms of English. So what do we mean by the sounds of English? There are rhythms in English, there's timing in English, there's emphasis in English that are particular to the English language, that are features, I would say, are main features of the language. Whereas with other languages that are so-called tonal languages, the pronunciation has different aspects of going up or down or flat or up and down. and that's part of the tonal pronunciation of terms, and that identifies to a listener what your meaning is. Whereas in English, you can be a monotonal speaker, but you still use different cues of verbal emphasis and highlighting verbally to emphasize your meaning in particular passages of speech. So English still has things where you need to learn about timing and emphasis and rhythm that are unique, I think, to English. And I think that's what Tuan's getting at. In training the ear, we need to train the rhythm of English, the timing of English pronunciation, and how to vary, how to change the emphasis in our speech in order to highlight certain portions of what we say, to give that emphasis. And so when you were saying that, I was thinking, okay, we can either have more English speakers there, and that would be ideal. But if you don't have that, then we can use the technology that's already available. And when you're talking about getting English pronunciation out to the schools, in the classrooms, in the rural areas, the thing that came to my mind right away is this thing that I've never seen, but I love the idea of, the USB radio. So it would take some effort, but you could have a native English speaker, almost like reading a book on tape. If you have if this is popular in Vietnam, a lot of my friends use it when they drive back and forth to work. They have a book on tape going, and so it takes them an hour and a half or 2 hours to get from work to go home because of all the traffic and the distance. And so they spend their time learning about something, and it's somebody speaking into their ears for 2 hours about a topic that interests them. And that's an idea that the House of Wisdom could use. So in addition to getting library books for your rural schools, I would say it would be really great to get a collection of USB radios and a large library of books on tape on various academic subjects at different levels of learning, so that people could go to the library and learn about something about the history of Chile, or Chile, as they say, and it would be from a native speaker, or from the history of New York City, from a New York City speaker, native speaker. And the advantage of that is that you only need one. Once you have that on tape or digitized, then more than one user can use the same information on New York in geography, or the same information of a topic on in biology, or just a novel, a story, a love story, or a sports story, or something like that. And once it's digitized, it can be in every library at the same time. All we need is the USB radios there, and we need the books on tape. And those, what we can do is, and if this gets going, I'll have to look into it, is that an index can be compiled, if it isn't already, about the words that are used in the book, so that can be a feature that you can hold out separately and say, you know, if you want to learn how to say the word sports franchise, that occurs at, 83 minutes and 22 seconds. So then you can hear that over and over. So that's what I'm thinking. Rather, we can have two approaches to this USB radio. We can have like practice lists of words and terms and sentences so that students can hear them and practice. And then we can have actual books where it's like a normal speech pattern. Someone is just reading something as if they're talking to you. So that would be a normal speech pattern. So that's my recommendation right now, that it just comes off the top of my head, is that if we can really utilize the technology of USB radios, like that doesn't require that every rural school gets computers and all the fancy equipment and all the power supplies that go with that. All you need is these really convenient and I think quite brilliant devices that allow teachers and students to exploit the idea of listening to a native speaker, even though they're far away, talk about a specific topic that's of interest to the people in that school. I think that would be great.
Yes, I think the children has a lot of chance if they start to learn foreign language when they are so young yet. But to adults yet to like our generation and a lot of teacher I have mentioned above, not easy for them. I think that we must be very hardworking to be competency in English. Not easy for the others, but for the children it may be. And so we always to encourage the parent, let the children to learn English or to learn other language, foreign language, very soon when they was very young. Because if they grow up and they learn English and a foreign language, not easy.
Right.
Not easy to change the voice, not easy to change the intonation, not easy to change the pronunciation. Yes.
That's true. And
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. Sorry, who's going to talk? Somebody go ahead.
Yeah.
Yao, go ahead, Yao.
I have a what? Sorry?
I was just wondering if you wanted to add on to what Tuan was saying about getting parents involved in raising bilingual children.
Can you rephrase that? What is bilingual children?
Bilingual, okay, for English and Vietnamese specifically is what we're talking about. So Tuan was saying how valuable it is to have parents involved in raising their children to be bilingual in English and Vietnamese. That Tuan has identified this as something that would be beneficial to all the students in Vietnam and to all the parents and therefore to the country as a whole. Do you have anything you want to add to that? Because you are bilingual.
As my parents are as young.
Are your parents bilingual? I know your father doesn't speak English. What about your mother?
She doesn't too.
Wow.
As I know, in their time, they have studied French.
Okay.
Because Vietnamese, the past of Vietnamese, right? They just studied French, so they can help give me a supporting hand in learning English.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a lot to learn. French.
Actually,
French is not easy.
I often study by myself, and teachers taught me when I was a child. So yeah.
Okay, good, good. Okay. So you're an important bridge for your family to anything in the English-speaking world. That's great. That's a good responsibility. That's a big responsibility. Thank you, Yao.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Tuan, if I can get back to the topic about raising children to be bilingual, we had a woman on whose company actually is built around the idea of involving parents in the English education of their children at home. Could we have her on again, or are we gonna do any, does the House of Wisdom have any connection with her company?
Not yet, Mr. Ian.
Yeah.
Up to now, we just from families, Vietnamese family in the middle class in Vietnam, especially in Ho Chi Minh City and in Hanoi, Da Nang, and some mid city. They send the children to the international school rather soon when I was young, or they they let their children to study in public school, but they send the children to learn English very in the early stage. Yes, so they would love to raise children bilingual. Not much, but I think that the number of these type of family increasing, maybe 5-10 years nowadays.
Okay.
Increasing and increasing.
I don't mean the international school, because you pointed out something that was really interesting, that there are high school students who are illiterate in Vietnamese because they spend their entire day in school where everything is English. And we don't want to go down that road. But do you
Yes.
remember the woman we had on, and she
Yes.
she had a great
Yes.
program, and I think
Yes.
the program that she was selling was in addition to what people learn in Vietnamese school.
Yes.
They at home they learn English, and it involves the parents, so that the parents
Yes.
and the children have something in common, even if the parents aren't speaking English. Her system allows the students to learn
Yes.
English even though the parents aren't English speakers. It's a really clever idea. We should have her on again if she has time.
We must encourage the family like and parent like Ian. Yes, Ian family.
Yeah.
Not many now, but we hope they are increasing in the future.
Yeah, so I think the question you're asking, I think her company actually focuses on a solution for that question, to train the ear. And she gets the children learning English early. So it would be interesting to know how her company tackles the question of pronunciation and intonation for English. Like, how does she go over that hurdle? How does she solve that problem? But I don't know if she's just working in cities or if she's working in all the different provinces. But I know she works very hard, so if she has time at some point in the future, it would be nice to have her on again.
Yes.
But again, I think our best shot is to exploit the technology of the USB radio if we really want to get all the rural schools involved, and to allow them to have a chance to have a resource for correct intonation and pronunciation by native English speakers. I think that's the best way. for the
Yes.
House of Wisdom to go. I just, you know, I think that if there could be a curriculum worked out where teachers said, this is what I have problems teaching students pronunciation of, and it's in this area, or this is a list of words, or these things I try to teach them first, and then this is what they learn next, and this is what they learn last at their final years of high school. This is the progression of terms or vocabulary that I use. It shouldn't be hard to organize to get a native English speaker to professionally record those lists of words, and then that could be digitized, and that could be put in all the USB radios, and that could be kept in all the House of Wisdom libraries, so that you would have expert pronunciation resources. But again, it all depends on putting that on USB radios and getting those USB radios in all the rural schools. That's what it depends on. But
Yes.
the advantage is once you
Very
record it once, it's there, it's done, and you can make infinitely many copies, as many copies as you have USB
Yes.
radios, and you
Yeah.
can keep it for as long as you want, because the digital recording doesn't degrade like an analog recording. So
Yeah.
so that sounds like a great project, Tuan. We should talk more about that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I-
and good news nowadays.
Yeah. Become teaching. Okay. I think that to improve listening skill and speaking skill for students, the first way it is very important that we have to teach for students use the a word vocabulary first. In that which it's very important, very essential. Um, the same way Gardner, I think that we have a lot of way, a lot of technique to teach a new word, especially new word for students. The first, I think that the first way, the first technique we can present exact word for student and have to have symbol international symbol for student. Stress the same with Gardner thought. Stress emphasize and stress for each new word. After present all new word, we have read that word this word carefully and exactly for student and present Vietnamese meaning this word and read in chorus and our student stand up and read this word carefully in front of class and intonation. Pay attention to stretch for this word and very necessary to checking checking wood by technique maybe slap the board, maybe what and where, maybe rub out remember. Rub out remember technique to check vocabulary, checking vocabulary for students. And we ask students prepare on new word at home by dictionary in maybe in smartphone, their smartphone. Okay, they can list nature sound of a nature speaker for this word.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, radio. Okay, in that it is a very important to for us to use the checking vocabulary after we teach after we taught this word. Okay, check vocabulary technique. For example, what and where. Maybe rub out remember. We after student read carefully, we rub out all this word in English, and we let Vietnamese meaning, and we ask student see in Vietnamese meaning and talk English word. Okay, and after that we have a student student go to the board and rewrite this word in English by see Vietnamese meaning. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
I think it is very important to teacher teach vocabulary, which is very essential first.
I agree. That's really nice. And you bring out a thing that I was thinking about is that for individual words, there are always dictionaries online that pronounce the word, like individual words. And these are dictionaries from like America or England. So the pronunciation is what a native speaker would sound like. So if you go to Merriam-Webster.com and you type in a word, and it's got a little speaker there, and it'll say the word for you. The computer will say the word for you, and it'll be a typical American pronunciation. That's for a single word. But for sentences, you need a native speaker to say the expression, the actual sentence, or the phrasal part of the sentence that you're focusing on, whether it's some sort of noun clause or adjective clause or something that's part of a sentence you're teaching. You can't get a dictionary to do that for you. You have to have that recording of that part of a sentence or the whole sentence already ahead of time by a native speaker, and that's a harder thing to get. There are programs now that if you click on an icon, it'll read a page to you if you have a page on a web page, but it's just reading word by word. It's not reading sentences. So it's not a natural sound.
Yeah.
So
phrasal verb or phrasal noun.
Yes.
And I do and sentences. Okay, this word or this phrase verb in sentence in concrete sentence. Okay, concrete situation.
Okay, yeah, and it's just it's that's where the teacher is required to speak the whole clause or the whole sentence,
Yeah,
because
whole sentence.
the computer can only read one word at a time, even if it's a whole web page. And
Yeah.
that's why I say if you get books on tape, is what they're called. This is a native speaker reading naturally
Yeah.
a book already. And traditionally, it's been used to teach people who have visual impairments. But I don't know that the books on tape feature has been used to teach people the sound of another language. And so this is a very interesting topic, I think, and it's something that we should explore. I'm sure it's out there because
Yeah.
it just makes a lot of sense to have. So I'll have to see if I can find it. The That's why it's important to have the some feedback from the teachers in the House of Wisdom of what they would like to hear a native English speaker pronounce for them. Not just single words, because you can get that from a dictionary. Like I say in my little chat there at merriam-webster.com, you can see what a native English speaker, a typical native English speaker sounds like pronouncing any word that's in that dictionary. But what words would what sentences, what phrases, what topics would teachers in the House of Wisdom like to hear a native English speaker pronounce for their classroom? And whether this is a one-time thing or this is a weekly thing, it depends on what sort of things Tuan can organize. Maybe there's a pool of native English speakers that come from all over the world, like some are from America, some are from Australia, like we had Timothy the other day, and if they're organized enough that they can read a paragraph or two or a list of words every week that is used by the House of Wisdom teachers, and then this is kept in a library so that it's all meticulously categorized so that it can be accessed by teachers in the future so no one's repeating themselves. And then you could build up a huge database of English speakers helping to and participating in House of Wisdom English speaking classrooms and teaching the students, training their ears. And you could do that digitally. And that could be done either on the computers, the smartphone, wherever, anything that can hold a digital file. And I'm especially thinking about the students in rural Vietnam, if they don't have any of that, if they had USB radios, they would still have the benefit of a native English speaker helping out in their lessons. And, it would be a one-way deal, but they would still have that person's voice, their intonation, their rhythm, and their expressions, their emphasis, to use as a resource. And they could play it back as many times as they needed. And that would be really helpful. And I don't think it would be really difficult to set up. I think it just takes an engineer's mind to organize it all. And then it could be done, So that's something to think about, Tuan. Because
Yeah, thank you.
I think it's an excellent point that Ms. Hung brings up, is that you teach vocabulary first. And that's what you use to, first of all, show students that there's a big difference in this language compared to the language you know. And secondly, that this language that you're going to learn has a lot of interesting features to it. And you do that just by introducing people slowly. And one of the ways to introduce it slowly is vocabulary and little games and songs and things like that. And you could get native English-speaking volunteers to participate in a House of Wisdom national curriculum in terms of building up that native English speaker resource, so that as long as as long as it's categorized correctly, all the teachers can use it depending on what level their students are at. Because single words are easy to pronounce, and dictionaries do that online automatically, and it sounds like a native English speaker. You know, if you go to Merriam-Webster.com and you listen to what some of the words that they pronounce, it sounds like a person speaking into a microphone, although it's a computer. It's amazing. It doesn't sound like your typical computer voice. It sounds like a real person's voice, but it's only one word at a time.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's see what we can learn about that during the week, Tuan, and over the next several weeks, how we can plan to get over that hurdle of not having native English speakers to help train the ears of English students in House of Wisdom classes. Because I think it's just a problem of organization and a little planning. And I think it can be done. Especially now, since if we have access to resources, anything that's digital can be searched. So I wonder if you can search in a book for a particular sentence or a phrase. I know with Amazon Kindle, you can search for a particular sentence or a phrase on every Kindle. And Amazon Kindle also has a pronunciation function, but again, it sounds like a machine. So there would be ways to search digital files of English speakers for particular sentences. So really all you need is a list of all the sentences that you want in your library. And that would change for every grade that you have, the young children and all the way up to the most senior children in high school, you know, the young adults. So it would be a big task, but it's not impossible. It just needs to be organized.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
That's a good idea. Yes.
Okay, so we're almost at our time limit. Does anyone have anything they want to add to today's session?
I want to ask Ms. Hằng and Ms. Yao. To Ms. Hằng, you are teaching English at the elementary school or secondary school or high school?
Yeah, I am teacher. I am a teacher at the high school.
High school, yeah. So in your school, how many hours a student to learn English? A week, yeah. How many hours?
Maybe
3 hours?
11.
11 hours a week?
Okay.
So many. Yes, so much time. 11 hours for English learning per week.
Okay.
Yes, it is so much. I think it's so much. What about Yao? In your school, how much time you learn English at your school per week?
We have about eight English lesson in our school. Yeah.
8 English lesson per week.
Yeah.
So how much time for one lesson?
About
45
45 minutes.
45
Yeah.
minutes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but
So
it's when we study offline, but now online we just have about 4 lessons. Yeah,
for lesson online.
yeah.
So it means a lesson offline and 4 lesson online.
No, now it's 4 lessons, but if we study offline, so we will have a lesson.
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
when,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. So in Miss Hang school, more time,
Okay,
so more
offline.
time
Mm.
offline. Yes, 11 hours per week.
11
Yeah,
hours. Mm.
yeah. That's so good. So
And
good. Yeah.
online. In evening and in the morning we teach offline. However,
Yes.
in afternoon, in the afternoon, the same offline, and evening about 19 o'clock to 21st o'clock. We have about uh, six. Okay, now eight lesson a year period
Yes.
online.
Yes.
Okay, we have maintained online to uh, to uh, prepare to so that the student uh, maintain online way, and if COVID is return back, we have to teacher online. The student don't forget way to in inter LMS LMS. Okay, LMS education province.
That's so good compared to our time.
Okay, avoid
Yes.
avoid student forget the way to intern
Yes.
online on their
Yes.
lesson. Okay.
Yes. When I was in high school, I have 2 hours, maybe 2 hours or less, 2 hours per week for English learning, just 99% on vocabulary and grammar. And after 2 weeks, and we forgot nearly everything. Yes. And when we joined the university, we have
We
maybe
also
some, yes, forgot everything.
we also focus on
Yeah.
teaching grammar and reading skill for students
Yeah.
to national exam. Okay, national
Okay.
exam, final
Yeah.
national exam. Okay,
Yeah.
focus on national final exam for students.
Yes.
Therefore, we focus on teaching grammar and pronunciation leader. For example, straightforward and pronunciation very simplifies maybe a straight to syllable. Okay, syllable. We stop choose syllable. Sound for student, teacher for teaching for student. Two syllable, only two
Wow.
syllable. About phonetic. and symbol sound for each word for student to phrase to complete final national exam. And really skill maybe. Almost drop out, almost eradicate listening skill, speaking skill, and writing skill.
Yes.
Okay, maybe 6 years ago, when students have to test writing skill, we also writing skill. Okay, they people eradicate writing skill, and we also eradicate writing skill. Not
Yes.
okay, almost don't teachers writing skill and listening and maybe speaking sometime.
Yes. Hello, so I see Mitzi maybe sleeping.
COVID 19 almost eradicated writing skill,
What is the word
skill, and reading skill in high school. Okay.
Yeah.
You said eradicated. Yeah? What is that the word?
Yeah. Drop out, eradicate.
Fail.
Maybe literacy eradicate, that is illiteracy. Drop out.
Yeah.
Literature.
Get it up.
Yeah. Just the way you used eradicate in a sentence, it was a little bit strange, but from the context we could tell that you were talking about improving writing skills.
Illiteracy.
Yeah, eradicating illiteracy by improving writing skills, speaking skills, and I guess grammar skills. Yeah. Sure. No, that's great. And
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What is when the Christmas season come in your place?
So, Christmas Day is December 25th.
Yeah, but
Christmas Eve is December 24th, and New Year's Day is January 1st. New Year's Eve is December 31st. And that's pretty much it. A lot of companies take off several days between Christmas and New Year's. Like for myself, I'm going to have off from the 23rd until January the 2nd. But, I'm not going, if we have a House of Wisdom meeting on a Saturday and it's a holiday, I'll discuss with Tuan if I'm going to be there or not. I'll probably be there. I don't have any reason not to be. Because nobody's traveling now. At least I'm not going to travel now.
We'll wait for you next year.
Yeah. Or the year after. At the end of 2020, in 2023, the vaccines that they've developed for the COVID problem, that's when the clinical trials for the vaccines are completed. So the clinical trials on all the vaccines, they continue until 2023, and then once that happens, then science and medicine will have a better idea about if these vaccines are good for a lot of things or just a few things, and so nobody knows until then. There's no there's all kinds of scientific studies, but the clinical trials are the most important. Okay. So
Okay. Yeah.
that's been a wonderful session. Maybe next time we should
Yes.
talk about how COVID makes it difficult to teach.
Yeah.
Because, when the government says, oh, no, we have new infections, so everybody has to stay home, how does that affect your teaching? We should talk about
Yes.
something like that. How does COVID affect
Teaching.
teaching? How does COVID and I want to take a screenshot of that so that I can know this is our topic
Yes.
for next week. Okay, so that's great. Okay, so thank you everyone for showing up today, and for I know you're all tired, and happy National Teachers Day to everyone. I hope
Yeah.
I hope you all had a great
We
day.
celebrate. Yes.
Thank you for your
Yeah.
efforts. So give yourself a hand. And
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
And thanks, Yao. I see. I got your heart up there. You're part of the group. We see that. We acknowledge your efforts. Thank you for being a teacher. I hope to see everybody again next week. And the topic is going to be, how does COVID-19 affect your teaching? And give us specific examples so that people know they can have a strategy. Maybe they don't use it, but they would like to use your strategy. For instance, if the government tells you in your area of the city where you live, everybody has to stay inside for the next 3 weeks or the next 5 weeks, what do you do as a teacher to make sure that you can keep teaching your students for the next 5 weeks? How do you let them know that everything is going to be online? And how do you let them know that they have to do their homework and give it to you? And how do they give you their homework when they're in lockdown? And how does that happen? So that could be a good topic for next week. But again, thank you everyone for coming today, and
Yes.
happy National
Happy
Teachers
Teacher
Day.
Day.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Happy Teacher Day. Yeah. All the best for you, Miss Ian.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And we'll see you all next
Bye
week.
bye.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
Yeah. See you next week.
Bye, Yao. Bye, Miss
See you
Hung.
again.
Bye,
Yeah.
Tuan.
Thank you
Bye,
very
Chi.
much. Thank you.
Okay, bye.